The world has seemed consumed with a new name and what some consider to be a new disease. It's a hybrid flu, a genetic cocktail never before seen. It took the world by surprise in April of 2009, and it continues to pose a threat. But what separates the fact from the fiction, and what can you do to protect yourself? We're taking a look at H1N1, the swine flu, and what you need to know. H1N1 has not been without controversy. Some say this new flu is all media hype. But one thing is for sure, there's no denying this flu has quickly swept around the globe and is infecting people worldwide. Dr. John Walker is the public health officer for Stanislaus County. He closely monitors the flu each year and understands its severity.
Each year, 30 to 36,000 Americans die from flu. And in the state of California, we're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 deaths.
Seasonal flu is a serious illness, and health organizations around the world monitor this flu closely each year.
The most important organization is the World Health Organization that's based in Geneva, Switzerland. It has a series of laboratories around the globe. But in addition, the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta has a group that meet every week of the year to monitor influenza. That's how important. That's how it has to be monitored.
The challenge for health experts has been the arrival of a new strain of flu called the H1N1, or swine flu.
One of the realities of influenza viruses is they're continually mutating. The good news about this one is that it has about the same severity as the seasonal virus.
It's called a novel flu because it's a never-before-seen strain mixing the genes of humans, birds, and pigs.
And as a consequence, most Americans do not have immunity.
The H1N1 flu is transmitted like any other flu, through droplets from the mouth and nose. The virus can live on surfaces for up to an hour after it's deposited. It's not transmitted by certain types of food, like pork. And just like any other flu, if people get it, the symptoms can be very uncomfortable.
They feel terrible, feel like their whole body, they've been run over by a truck, and they're coughing their head off.
Other symptoms of flu include fever, body aches, extreme fatigue, loss of appetite, and headache.
What's the difference between the seasonal flu and the H1N1 flu?
With H1N1, particularly gastrointestinal symptoms, some vomiting, maybe some diarrhea.
Often it's hard to tell the difference between seasonal and H1N1 flu, as symptoms can be similar. However, research is showing that with H1N1, certain groups of people are at higher risk.
This particular virus does tend to affect younger people.
Should my children get a flu shot? Does it matter how young they are, how old they are?
They are one of the higher priority groups for receiving the vaccine.
It is recommended all children from 6 months through 18 years plus receive a seasonal flu vaccine. And therefore there are two separate vaccines for this flu season, the seasonal flu and the H1N1.
For the H1N1 vaccine, the CDC recommends people 6 months to 24 years get the vaccination.
And we're especially concerned about children under 5, especially under 2.
The H1N1 flu is new for us. It's different enough so that the majority of the population has no antibodies, and that's why we would expect more people to get sick from the H1N1. Kids tend to carry germs around, partly because they touch everything and everything goes in their mouth. And so they'll touch other things after their hands have been in their mouth, and somebody else will come along, touch it, and so things are spread pretty well among kids.
It is highly recommended that parents and caregivers for children under 6 months of age should get a flu shot. Children under 6 months do not have antibodies to fight the disease and are too young for the flu vaccine. But children are not the only high-risk group for H1N1. Officials early on discovered another uncomfortable piece of information.
It has been clear for some time that pregnant women are at increased risk of not only becoming ill, but becoming very ill.
Marianne Cannon is an executive with Community Hospice. She has a 3-year-old daughter and is in her 3rd trimester with a little boy on the way. She's been keeping a close eye on the development of H1N1 and how it could impact her life and the life of her baby.
You know, I'm fairly young, I'm fairly healthy, so to suddenly find myself in a high-risk group for a type of flu that not only is dangerous but can kill is really alarming.
The Centers for Disease Control is recommending a seasonal flu vaccine as well as the H1N1 vaccine for pregnant women. However, the recommendation has caused some concern.
But I really am concerned about, the swine flu and being pregnant and its impact on the fetus, being that it's such a new vaccine.
Harvey Palitz is an obstetrician gynecologist who has closely watched the development of H1N1. He spends a significant amount of time counseling his patients and providing current information.
Pregnant women in particular say to me all the time, I don't like to take medications and I don't like to take injections. And certainly when they're pregnant, it's like, well, what is it going to do to my baby? But what you have to consider is what the disease might do to them and their baby.
I am still debating on whether I should get the swine flu vaccine. The swine flu is so new that I'm really concerned about its impact on the fetus. And I know a lot of other pregnant women share my concern. Do the risks outweigh the benefits or vice versa?
We're always making risk trades, and in this case, the disease is considerably riskier than the vaccination.